What's up, y'all? Welcome back. All right, I have to wait for the air to turn off. What's up, y'all, and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Diana, and I like to talk about all things money and the things that money has an effect on, which is, in my opinion, everything. And last week, while I was grocery shopping, I was listening to a podcast, and she was talking about how you have to change your perspective on the things that are causing you discomfort and a lack of motivation. And lately, I have been praying to not only hear when the divine God is speaking to me, but to also have the wisdom to discern what is being said. And in my community tab, if you are that invested, I did say that for the month of November, I am doing a dopamine fast in which I'm just reaching for my phone less because I have realized and accepted that I am in a toxic cycle of using my phone and scrolling to self-soothe. Like if I have a project or something that I'm working on and maybe I am at a standstill, I grab my phone and I start scrolling to self-soothe. When I'm eating, it brings me comfort and familiarity to scroll, but also at the same time, when I am done scrolling, I feel depleted. And I think that is because we now have the ability to be exposed to so much, to people's lives, their tragedies, their milestones, their thoughts, and we are absorbing so many different people's lives and their thoughts and their tragedies, so much so at a rate that I don't feel like we were designed to absorb. And so it can just leave you feeling empty and depleted, but yet it's the one thing that causes you comfort and familiarity. It's kind of weird, but I just wanted to undergo a dopamine fast. I'm not necessarily fasting from social media, but just doing a little bit less scrolling whenever I feel that anxious need to pick up my phone and scroll, so that I can have more time to actually do the things that will fill my cup versus empty it out. And so I have picked up reading again. I am reading Woman Evolve by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and the last chapter that I read, she talked about perspective, and I want to first read a little bit about what she says about perspective. And so she says, it's probably the part of this process that is the easiest to explain, yet the most difficult to implement. Comparing what you see comes down to stretching your faith to look beyond your perspective on your situation and circumstance and daring to ask God to show you what he sees. And so after reading that, I'm like, yeah, this message is for me. This is my message. And I felt like after I became debt-free, after my first debt-free journey, my first successful debt-free journey, which was 4 years of me pouring my identity into. Once I became debt-free, I did talk a little bit about feeling lost and lacking motivation. Like I really went downhill after my first debt-free journey, which sounds crazy, but for some reason I did. Why? I did not really follow those emotions to fully understand why. But I did. And so I was battling in the cycle of battling motivation, procrastination, limiting beliefs about myself, and just feeling like I wasn't progressing. And it wasn't up until about 6 months ago that I can finally go to bed and feel like my life and what I am creating is progressing. And I focus now on what I am creating intentionally. And that's because just through me seeking wisdom, I've learned that we were created by the Creator to create. And life is an experience. It's a series of experiences in life, and how you want the experience to feel is the creation. And when we're not creating, we often feel lost and unfulfilled, and that leaves room for envy and negativity and limiting beliefs and negative self-talk, because we're not doing what we were created, to do. If you want to achieve the things that you desire in life, you must first accept that you want those things. And that is a journey in itself, to be like, I desire these things, and it's okay to desire these things. But you must also step outside of your perspective. And connecting it to money, I've never once met a person who intentionally achieved something financial that didn't believe that they were worthy and capable of doing it. And that's because instead of looking at something as an opportunity to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, your perspective causes you to validate why you are not worthy and capable of doing something. Anytime we have the perspective of I can't do something that we really want to do, we're going to look for things in our outside world to validate those feelings, right? Because that is our point of view, truly. Even though we want to achieve those things that we may not have accepted that we want to achieve, or we desire certain things that we may not have accepted that we truly want to desire, if we have the wrong perspective, we are going to look at things as a reason why we can't do it. We're actively searching for things to validate our feelings instead of looking at the opportunity in things. And so, there was a point in time when I felt like I couldn't have a higher paying position. Did I need a higher paying position to help pay my bills and take care of my kids? Absolutely. But there was a point in time where I feel like I couldn't have a higher paying position because I'm comfortable where I am. I'm comfortable with my work friends, and I don't want extra work or work in which I'm not familiar with, because obviously you get a new job, you have to learn a new job roles, right? New duties. The things that we want to achieve are always going to require a higher version of ourselves, not only to achieve but to maintain. And that is scary. It is scary requiring a higher version of yourself, because you're holding yourself to a new higher standard, and it's like, well, what if I fail? What if I'm not capable of maintaining this? And yes, without putting all the layers on it, it does sound silly. It sounds silly to keep yourself from a better, higher paying position. It sounds silly when you say debt stresses you out, and yet you keep increasing the debt balance. But when you consider perspective, it makes sense. And honestly, what I found so shocking whenever I was coaching clients is that 95% of them didn't have an issue with the goal or the strategy. That wasn't the problem. That wasn't keeping them from the vision that they truly held in their mind for themselves. It was their perspective that was keeping them from taking action, because their perspective that they had currently was tricking them into believe that they could never get the things that they held in their mind. And so they wouldn't actively try to achieve these things, because they were navigating through life using their experiences and the things that were happening as a reason as to why their current perspective was correct. And so I do have a few things that I have done in the past that I am doing now, and a few things that I have picked up that I do want to share with you guys. And the first one is to journal through your thoughts and your limiting beliefs. You need to keep a track record of these things, and it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. I keep mine in a journal. And I always say, whenever you take time to sit through and journal through your thoughts and your beliefs, you are opening up a book about yourself. You are learning about yourself, because you can't fix what you don't know, right? And it is very scary to kind of look at yourself on paper, because then you have to face the things that you are running from. But whether you do it in a journal or if you are on the go, I recommend just using the notes section, and in your phone, there's an app for that. Just jot it all down. Just do a big brain dump. It does not have to make sense, because as you're getting it out of your mind, which is the main purpose here, it's going to start making sense. And the things that you really couldn't understand, as you continue to jot down your thoughts as you are going through these emotions, or you're feeling these familiar feelings that aren't positive or conducive to whatever it is that you are trying to create in life, it's going to start allowing you to identify patterns, and it's going to allow you to see, if I'm with this person, I had this familiar feeling comes up, or I take this specific action, or if I'm in this certain location, then I start to act out and do X, Y, Z. And I believe that you are smart enough to realize that whenever you start to learn your thought patterns and, the external forces that are creating certain feelings, you're going to be able to figure out a way to either redirect your thoughts or limit your exposure to these things. The second thing is something that is quite new, and I've been calling it best case scenario delusion. It's not really delusion, but the popular term right now that's going around is delusion or delulu. So I just called it the best case scenario delusion. And I feel like if we can live in a world that's full of doom and gloom, we have a looming recession, we have war, we have all of these anxiety provoking things going on. If we can live in a world like that, why can't we flip the script and live in a world that is full of best case scenarios? Live our life through a best case scenario thinking. We all know that where the mind leads, the body follows. And the way that I make it make sense in my mind is like, this is an avatar, right? And this is an avatar that is programmed by the mind. We always talk about how important it is to feed your body whole foods, healthy foods. You are what you eat, right? But it's also just as important to feed your body positive thoughts from the mind. And, you have to think about what happens when you feed your body negative thoughts and limiting beliefs about yourself and the world around you. You get anxious, your heart starts racing, palms make it a little sweaty, you have body ailments, head starts hurting. So think about what could happen if you start to feed yourself intentionally more positive things. And if anything, it's just going to give you the encouragement, the little bit of encouragement that you need to start taking steady, small steps towards your vision. It just encourages you to start creating.
I said I wasn't gonna stop. I said I wasn't gonna stop. When things get tough, it's not an excuse to not do what was planned. You're a slave to nothing and no one. Not even your own body. You tell your body what to do, not the other way around. My babies are at the finish line. They're waiting for mommy. I tell my body what to do, not the other way around.
And I truly believe when you start doing this, that big giant, whatever it is in your life, is going to start feeling smaller and smaller, because you're taking back power and authority and control over your life, over this experience that you're having by creating. And so I just say, pick the best case scenario every single week and seek to embody that best case scenario every single day and just see what happens. The third thing is to categorize facts and opinions. So a lot of the times when we have these beliefs about ourselves, we tend to treat them as facts. And by definition, a fact is a thing that is known or proved to be true. So you cannot argue with a fact. So we form these beliefs that we can't pay off debt, we can't save money, we can't stick to a budget based on what? Our experiences. Maybe we blew up the budget a few times. Maybe we ran up credit card debt, or maybe growing up, we remember certain things being said, and that has impacted and affected our money relationship. These are our beliefs. And by definition, a belief is an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. Basically, it's a thought that we have repeated to ourselves so many times that it has become a belief. And the good thing is that our beliefs are not automatically facts. My beliefs are not automatically facts. Beliefs don't need factual evidence to exist. Like, think about it with kids. They truly believe at a certain age, unicorns are real. And in their reality, unicorns are real. That is their belief. And they believe Santa Claus is real. That is their belief. And it is correct in their reality. But we know as a fact, it is not. Unicorns don't exist. Santa Claus does not exist. So if you have a belief that is keeping you from creating on earth the vision that you have, then you have to go to war with that belief. You have to go to war. It's got to go. Like, I always think about it like this. I have to stay in my mind all day, every day for the rest of my life. I have this avatar for the rest of my worldly life. I have to live with this. I have to deal with this. Why would I not try to create the most positive experience possible for myself? Because no one else is stuck with my mind and me but me. And so you have to interrogate the grounds on which your vision or your beliefs, was built on. Look at the evidence. What is the evidence and what does it say about you truly? And I'm going to be realistic. Sometimes after looking at the evidence, you may have to adjust your focus. You may have to break that goal up into smaller chunks, but use what you have done, as evidence to support your vision and not tear it down. What have you done to support that you can pay off debt? What have you done to support the new job, that you can get a job? If you got a job before, if you switched jobs before, that's a fact. You can argue with that. It's happened. So you can do it again. What have you done to show that you can save money? If you've saved $10 in your savings account, you save money. It doesn't matter the amount. Saving money does not matter about the amount. It is the act of putting money aside and letting it sit and grow. And if you've done that with $5, $10, then you have saved money. Use things like that as evidence to support your vision. And the last thing I will say, and I talked about this with my brother maybe like a few weeks ago. It keeps coming up in conversations. Every single day you have to seek to renew your mind. Every single day. And that's not talked about enough. It's we hear the change your mindset, change your life, as though once your mindset changes, it's going to stay changed. No. It is an everyday thing that you have to do when you wake up. Every single day when you wake up, you have to actively seek to renew your mind. Because as long as you are flesh, as long as you are in this world, it's going to try to pull you back to the perspective that you had before. It is up to you to be consciously aware of your thoughts and what your point of view is, so that it is creating the life that you want to experience here. It's something that you may not, achieve every single day. Some days I don't have the mental capacity to renew my mind, but every single day that should be the one thing that you seek to do. Because it's going to be the one thing that allows you to create what you were created to create. Whatever that may be, that is up to you and God to discern. But I just want to mention that every single day is not going to be rainbows, butterflies, and sunshine. Some days I'm still spiraling out of control. I feel like I'm in a dark hole. But I know that I've gotten into the habit of seeking to renew my mind and change my perspective on things so that I can allow myself to grow and evolve into the woman that I truly believe that God sees me as and who he created me to be. And I need to step outside of myself and outside of my current perspective in order to grow. I cannot go to the places that we talk about with the same mindset that I have now. She worked for what I have right now, but she will not work for where I'm trying to go. And so that is what I am going to leave you guys with. Hopefully this was helpful and it helped and touched the right people. But I will catch you guys in the next one.